Hi friends, welcome back to the channel, and I'm back with one more interview experience. So this time it's all about IBM company. So today I'll be interviewing my super senior, and she's working as a test specialist in IBM company. And after completion of this video, we'll be getting complete clarity about the hiring process of IBM as well as the importance of the certification, which is going to be a key role in the interview process and all. And without wasting much time, let's start it. Hi Abhi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Akshay?
I'm doing great, Abhi. Thanks for asking. So Abhi, why don't you introduce yourself to audience?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Abhishekta. I passed out in 2020 and I've done computer science engineering in my college, currently working as test specialist in IBM.
Great, Abhi, great. So, Abhi, like at what stage of your academic you started to prepare these placement things and all?
Okay, so I wasn't pretty serious in the first 2 years like everybody else, but then in the starting of third year, I've had great guidance from my placement officers, and I've started preparing from I started it from aptitude, then slowly into the basics of programming, and then next step of programming, and then data structures. It started with C, and then data structures. I haven't done lot of languages.
Okay.
Concentrated only the basics, C and data structures.
Great, great. Abhi. So, Abhi, if possible, just try to explain the hiring process of IBM company. So, like, if like, if possible, just try to explain the topics which were asked in the assessment as well as in technical part. Just try to explain it briefly, if possible.
Okay, sure. So hiring process basically for 2 days. The first day it will be completely of written exam.
Okay.
And in that written exam, we'll have 4 rounds. The first is cognitive ability, in which we'll have 6 rounds of games, and we will be having only 30 minutes of time.
Okay.
Okay. And after that 6 rounds of games, we'll have English assessment. And in that English assessment, one will be spell check, one will be the grammar, and I don't remember the third one, but like that, we'll have 3 rounds of English assessment. Mind you, that will be only for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then next comes will be aptitude. I don't think, IBM mostly concentrates on how you think and how fast you think, not the, book knowledge.
Okay.
So, yeah, like technical, like logical questions will be more in aptitude test other than the actual aptitude.
It's like all depends upon the thinking capability, right?
Correct. Yeah. And that aptitude will be for 30 minutes again. And the last one will be your technical written exam.
Fine.
Yeah, that will also be for 30 minutes.
Great.
Yeah, and in that technical exam, there'll be 1 or 2 programs. They'll ask you to write the complete program.
Okay.
And the others will be multiple choice questions on different languages. It might be C, data structures, Java, or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, go on.
Yeah. So that is the first day process. And one main thing is that every round is an elimination round.
Okay.
Yeah, like IBM process is like major elimination. It takes only a very few people, and each round is an elimination round. That happened when I attended interview. That was the first round.
Okay.
And that was the first day it happened, and we were sent back home. We were told that if we got selected in that 4 rounds, we'll get an email and we'll get communication, and then we have to go again the next day. IBM, it didn't come to our college. It was a pool campus drive in one of the colleges that happened in Bangalore. And the next day, fortunately, I received an email that I got selected in the first written round. And the next day was technical and HR. Okay. One main thing to keep in mind is that whatever you mention in your resume, HR will only ask that. Okay. Don't put too many languages like Java, Python, etc., etc. Put 1 or 2 languages which you're sure of, very sure of. Okay. Okay, so my technical questions were 1 or 2. He asked me to write 1 or 2 programs, very basic programs, I tell you. Prime factorization. Okay. And maybe palindrome, something like that. I don't remember because it's been almost 2 years since I've given my interview. Yeah. So yeah, very basic program. Yeah, it didn't happen for technical didn't happen for too long, and then 1 or 2 technical questions based on real-time examples.
Okay.
Yeah, like nothing was in like according to the book. Like no, he didn't ask my bookish knowledge.
Okay.
He related everything to the real life examples. That is the main thing in technical interview. And I have also done my certificate courses in big data and RPA while I was in college.
Great.
That helped me a lot. I've mentioned that I've done this course and this course. He mentioned that, I mean, the HR told me that, this I've done big data and RPA courses.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, we're building a new wing in IBM about this RPA, robotic process automation. So you'll have a good scope.
Okay.
That is one plus point that I had. One main thing is that stick to your answers, no matter how in which way he asks. Stick to your answers. My interview was good, and that day it was almost like 4 5 p.m. by the time interview was over, and then we were sent back.
Okay.
They told we'll be communicated through email. Again, after 10 days, mostly, we got email that we've been selected. Yeah. And later, we were told we will be called in some 5 to 6 months, but then COVID happened and it extended to almost a year and 3 months and a
Great, Abhi, great. So, Abhi, we are reached to our destination of our interview. So, last but not the least, any suggestions to audience, Abhi?
Okay, so the only suggestion I want to give is be good with what you communicate. It doesn't have to be, fancy words and stuff. Just be clear of what you're saying and stick to your answers. And one more thing is that I have prepared. I got my help from Phase so much. Like it helped me with all the aspects, aptitude and programming, technical, quants, logical. Phase materials helped me a lot. That is all I gotta say.
Great, Abhi, great. So, yeah, we are done with our interview, and I would like to thank you for making time and joining me. And thanks for giving the inputs to our audience. And I hope that our audience make use of those inputs and try to implement in their preparation and see a good, kind of result. And yeah, guys, this is all about today's interview. And if you have any kind of questions or doubt, please comment it down. I will try to answer them. And thank you, Abhi. Thank you once again for making time and joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.